This story I'm about to share with you today is not like my other stories, is extremely disturbing with real footages, especially the ending. It comes with such a dark twist that it's going to hit you in a very distressing way, so viewer discretion is absolutely advised. All right, let's dive into this strange and heartbreaking story. To understand this case, we need to travel to a small city in West Virginia called Morgantown, and the year was 2012. Here lived a 16-year-old girl named Skylar Neese, a hard-working student at her local high school. Alongside her studies, she was also working a part-time job at Wendy's. Yes, the famous fast food chain. You've definitely heard of it. Skylar's parents, Mary and David Neese, had moved into Morgantown just a few years earlier. It was a small town, but famous for two main things. One, West Virginia University, bringing in students not only from across the US, but from all around the world. And second, sadly, the case I'm about to discuss with you now. Skylar was extremely hardworking. She had a lot of friends, not only in school, but also at Wendy's, where she bonded with co-workers and often hung out with them. Fast forward to July 5th, 2012. Around 10:15 p.m., David and Mary were sitting in their living room watching TV when suddenly they heard a knock at the front door. David figured their daughter had returned from her shift. Sure enough, when he opened the door, there stood Skylar, completely exhausted after finishing her shift at Wendy's. David welcomed her inside. She hugged both her parents and then went straight to her room to sleep, because clearly she was extremely tired that night. The next morning, July 6th, David and Mary woke up early to get ready for work. They noticed Skylar's room was still closed, but assumed she was catching up on sleep from her tiring shift. So without disturbing her, they went about their morning, had breakfast, and left for work. Later, around lunchtime, David came back home. He always preferred eating lunch at home. As he entered, he noticed Skylar's room was still shut. That's when he started to feel uneasy. By now, Skylar should have been up, gone to school, and gotten ready for her Wendy's shift later in the day. David called her name loudly. No response. He called her number several times. Her phone rang, but no one picked up. He called his wife Mary and explained the situation. Mary said Skylar hadn't mentioned any plans. Then, David called several of Skylar's friends. Among them was her best friend, Shelia Eddy, a girl Skylar had been close to since second grade. Shelia told David she had no idea where Skylar was. She even mentioned that she and Skylar had texted casually the night before, nothing unusual. Confused, David looked around the room again. That's when he noticed something strange. Inside the closet, the mesh screen from Skylar's bedroom window had been removed and placed inside. He checked the window. It was slightly open. Outside, right below that window, was a bench that normally belonged in the garden, but now it was directly under her window. It was obvious either someone had used the bench to climb into the room or Skylar had used it to sneak out. But David was baffled. Skylar had never once snuck out of the house before. She wasn't the type to go to parties, drink, or run off at night without telling her parents. Was it possible she had started doing this recently? Or worse, had someone come into her room and taken her? Mary tried calming him down, saying maybe we were overthinking. But soon around 5 p.m., David got a call from Wendy's. They asked why Skylar hadn't shown up for her 3 p.m. shift. She was never late, never absent without notice. That's when panic hit full force. David and Mary immediately called 911 and reported Skylar missing. That evening, Skylar's best friend Shelia called Mary. She claimed she, Skylar, and another close friend, Rachel, had gone out the night before for a secret night out. According to Shelia, the three girls often snuck out, drove around town, smoked weed, and got back before morning without parents ever finding out. Shelia explained how it usually worked. She and Rachel would park 2 streets away, call Skylar, and Skylar would sneak out through her bedroom window to join them. After hanging out for hours, they drop her back at the same spot before dawn. Mary was shocked. Skylar had never told them about this. Shelia insisted that the previous night they did exactly this. They dropped Skylar off near her house around midnight and assumed she walked back home safely. But later, CCTV footage surfaced. It didn't show Skylar returning home, it showed her voluntarily getting into another unknown car. The footage was blurry, the car couldn't be identified, but one thing was clear. Skylar went willingly. She knew whoever was in that car. Have a look at the CCTV footage. Weeks turned into months. Police initially suspected Skylar had just run away. Search operations eventually slowed down. Posters of Skylar's face faded in the town. Her parents, however, never gave. Then, in December 2012, everything changed. Rachel, one of Skylar's best friends, had a violent breakdown at home. She lashed out at her parents, attacked them physically, and was taken into custody. After being hospitalized for a week, Rachel was released, but instead of going home, she went straight to the Morgantown Police Department. There, she confessed. She told police that she and Shelia had planned Skylar's murder. That night, they lured her out, drove 45 minutes to a remote wooded area, and when Skylar turned her back, they stabbed her multiple times until she collapsed and died. Then they buried her body. The reason? When asked, Rachel coldly replied, "We just didn't like her anymore." That confession shocked not just the Neese family, but the entire country. Shelia, who had been crying alongside Skylar's parents, putting up posters and acting like a grieving friend, was actually the one who betrayed her. Skylar Neese's case became a chilling reminder of how cruel teenage friendships can turn and how sometimes the real monsters are the ones closest to you. From now on, I'll be uploading real stories with real footage, so make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any. Comment down below, have you ever been cheated on by your friends or relatives? And don't forget to hit the like button. Until the next video, goodbye and take care.